I've heard of audience participation shows, but this is ridiculous.
Welcome to Friday Night Shite. And tonight, guess what I've got for you? You're going to love this. A family-sized portion of disappointment. You're going to be filled to the rim. You're going to be absolutely stuffed rigid. Speaking of which, on the channel tonight is Vex Electronica. Thank you for joining me tonight.
You're most welcome. It's my pleasure. How are you?
I'm all right. Yourself? How you keeping?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. I can't. Well, actually, I've got a bit of a headache, but I've got a hot water bottle nestled between like my neck and the back of my chair right now, which is doing wonders. So
Nice.
yeah.
Are you feeling relaxed? Because I might disturb your calm, and not in a good way.
Oh, I mean, I would say generally yes, I'm feeling relaxed, but I don't know. It takes a lot to put that in disarray.
Well, do you know, I've taken a hit for the team. Today, I dragged two of my children along to see the new Tron Ares movie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And mixed feelings, mixed reactions, a little bit of, yeah, it was good in places. And then you sort of mull on it and think, hang on a minute, there's a lot wrong here. It was good in places, but a hell of a lot wrong with it.
Okay.
The first act was atrociously long-winded, like it was trying too hard. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Histophobos. Thank you for joining us.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And swappers too.
Yeah. For a moment there, Swappers, I thought your Avi was a bit rude. It looked like a monkey sucking something off.
Oh no, it's just fast food.
Yeah, it's chips.
Yeah.
Is that the catch there? You're supposed to be caught out by thinking it's an animal doing something quite rum.
Well, I mean, that's up to you personally to decide, I think.
That chip is quite well endowed, and I'm a little bit jealous, and I'm actually feeling a tiny bit threatened and intimidated at this point.
I thought Vex might like it at least.
Good. It's enjoyable. Hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'll try and not disappoint you with my disappointment. Anybody else been to see Tron Ares at the cinema today?
No,
unfortunately, I went to see it yesterday. And
Oh, another one with no fucking common sense whatsoever.
it may be the worst movie I've seen in, I don't know, 5, 10, 30 years. Oh my God.
Really?
Hold on. That's a tall order given some of the shit that's come out this summer alone.
Definitely.
Yeah. No. You know, you have to sort of combine it with potential expectations, disappointment, but it was god awful. I mean, I could go over it by the numbers, man. This thing was absolute. It was absolute trash. And the thing is, man,
Don't hold back.
Okay. The story was ridiculous nonsense. This thing was basically Rings of Power in a cyber techno paint job suit with meaningless world building where basically just random magic, whatever needed to happen, happened.
wow.
It was ridiculous and nonsensical. But instead of wizards, you know, they're cyber techno computer wizards. The world building was incredibly inconsistent. There was no character development or even characters whatsoever, except for Jared Leto, who was fully formed as a good guy, even when he was a bad guy. I think this movie, which was executive produced by him, was nothing more than a $200 million image rehabilitation project for Jared Leto.
It certainly was a Jared Leto wankfest, and you could tell it was all about him. He made this film entirely about himself, not the characters, not the storytelling. Like you said, there was absolutely zero to none world building. Fucking hell, Greta Lee's character was absolute trash. She was basically a reappropriated Sam Flynn. She
Oh, no.
is a digital Mary Sue who's come in to save Encom because Sam left under mysterious circumstances. No, he wasn't. He was shagging the arse off Cora. That's what he was doing. He was interfacing with her like 7 or 8 times a day non-stop. And I can't blame him.
Listen,
If I was do you know, she played a character in a movie called Better Living Through Chemistry. And one of the lines read by Jane Fonda in the narration is, when you're balls deep in a woman like Elizabeth, well, Sam Flynn's doing the same. When you're balls deep into a woman like Cora, you're never going to fucking get off that. No matter how much that ride makes you feel ill at times, you're going to fucking hang on for dear life. You're not going to want to get off it. It's like having a brand new bike at Christmas. You're going to ride the fuck out of it to at least New Year's Eve. Am I wrong?
I actually think the real Mary Sue in this movie was actually Ares, who was, for no apparent reason whatsoever, as he was generated as a computer program, you know, it was like, what's my purpose? You're master control. Well, you know what? I think I want to be the good guy, and I think I don't like you, and I think I know a lot about music and poetry and jokes and history, and I'm going to quote Depeche Mode, and I'm going to go out and save the day. There's kind of like a different angle of Gary Stewness in there for Ares.
I couldn't argue with him on the Depeche Mode points. Not at all.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, you called?
Sorry, I got scared. Hold on.
Jared Leto is your digital Jesus, whether you like it or not. He's the digital Jesus you didn't ask for whatsoever. And the one thing that really, really annoyed me was the first act of this film was totally fucking pointless. There was absolutely no need to it.
Oh, there was a point. The point was to tell the audience this isn't the movie that you wanted or expected, so deal with it. That's exactly what the first act's point was.
Yeah. But on a lighter note, the soundtrack was all right. Do you know something? The callbacks in this were very minimal. We're talking like a handful of callbacks. Up until the point where we ended up in an Encom version of the original, like the original server what the MCP was on. And then we had the digital memory, the backup of Flynn, which I thought was a little bit of a stretch, to be fair. That's when the film got rather desperate, I thought.
It was member berries with a big dose of Deus Ex Machina. I did want to tell Vex that even though I'm a bear, I didn't think I was that scary, and I do apologize for frightening her.
You've just scared me now, Mister, because you've just said you're a bear. I didn't think you were that way inclined.
I'm a polar bear cub.
Oh, I thought you meant a different kind of bear, like a hairy fellow who likes it in the back doors.
No, I'm a cute, adorable polar bear who smokes cigars and drinks coffee. Didn't
of course.
You notice? Yes, that's like.
Gavin Blackburn in the chat says, did they fight any accounting cream puffs? No, they didn't. And there were no natural athletes in this film, I can tell you.
And I want to point out, even though, you know, some of the effects were kind of cool, like there was no taste when it came to the compositing and composition of the scenes. It was messy and busy with so much crap going on in each frame. Like, I thought at least like the light cycles were cool, but then when I got home and I watched the bit in Legacy, I'm like, oh no, this is much better. Like let's just throw a bunch of random nonsense special effects on screen and try to make it look cool. But it reminded me of the prequels, just with so much crap going on that you even have a hard time telling what's happening.
Do you know, the weird thing is, I neither disliked nor liked this film in places, which was quite odd because I tried very hard to avoid any kind of spoilers whatsoever. I wanted to go into this completely virgin, shall we say. And I got there a little bit early, and we got into the theatre, and I took a photo. I thought, you know, you've seen all these people taking pictures of the cinemas and whatnot. So I thought, yeah, I'll take a quick snapshot before we do anything here, if it loads up. Thank you.
Wow.
That's how many people were in front of us.
What
hate it when
time was
reviews
your
are skewed.
showing?
And then some really... It was fair enough. It was midday. But then the only thing was the guy who sat directly in front of me, he looked like he definitely belonged on the sex offenders list. And that's putting it mildly. But if you're feeling extravagant and you got plenty of money, you could have treated yourself to this.
No thanks.
The collector's combo, a fucking popcorn tin, like from a dollar store, and a cheapy cup which would break the first time you put it in a dishwasher for 25 fucking quid. And you can upgrade it for an extra 50p. Ooh. Seriously, who's going to pay $25.49 for a fucking cup and a tin? What's going to end up in the trash in less than a month?
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to be reminded of this film by seeing memorabilia of it lying around the house.
Well,
I save all these cups. Wait, you guys throw them away? I save them all.
I'm too tight. Well, I wouldn't say I'm tight. I'm very, very shrewd and prudent with my cash. So I tend to think, hang on a minute, what's that going to be worth in, like, say, I don't know, a couple of years or something like that? And then I'm swiftly reminded that these things are just fucking Temu trash. That's all they are.
That's fair. Like, I think I've only bought them a handful of times, but like I saved, like I still have my cup from Avengers Infinity War. I use it to clean my makeup brushes.
That's probably all it's fit for, to be honest. But this film is just hang on a second. This film is solely to, I don't know. It's a Jared Leto film. Jared Leto produced it. Jared Leto did all the tracing. Jared Leto brought his own crayons. Jared Leto brought some young ladies with him of questionable age who don't perhaps have driving licenses yet. It was just a vehicle for Jared Leto, and he chucked in Greta Lee as his token, and then you'd also got the woman from the fucking space lesbian.
The Acolyte.
That's it, Jodie Turner-Smith as Athena, who was because Ares was turning into a good guy, even though he was designed to be a bad guy. He realized that his creator was a bit of a knob end. So he decided to start doing his own thing. But Athena stepped up because she's not only a DEI program, she's a DEI hire as well in the casting.
So about the popcorn buckets, they're incredibly uninspired compared to the other stuff we've seen out there. So ridiculously bad. But I will give one thing to Jodie Turner-Smith's character, Athena. She's the only one that had a consistent motivation throughout the whole film. Everybody else was just a random series of, I'm going to act this way because now the story requires it.
But did you notice the underlying theme in this?
Girls
white men are dangerous and they're unpredictable and they will kill you. So watch out if you're different. If you're a diverse person, say an Asian, a very bright and industrious young lady who's coming to rescue a multi-billion-dollar software company, watch out because that white man's going to nobble you the first chance he gets.
Unless it's Jared Leto, and then he's not allegedly a creepy cult leader pedo guy. He's actually a good guy you can trust, by the way, just saying. But also is it me what's...
I think you de-rezzed a little bit there. Did anybody else notice that? Or is it me what's de-rezzing?
It might be you. You have
really?
roboting at one point, yeah.
Oh, well, that's very unusual. So it's just when Ista was talking, it was roboting somewhat. Just a quickie. Have you got any new flavours in your pot knacker range today?
There might be a few bonus flavours in there that you haven't seen before, yeah. Don't ask me to look at it. It's a bit small for me to see.
Yeah, this is definitely... it's just Jared Leto. Jared Leto, this. He was just digital Jesus. And Greta Lee's character, Eve Kim, she was just the Mary Sue. And all this is a complete rehash of Tron Ascension, which was supposed to be the direct sequel to Tron Legacy. You got Tron Legacy in 2012, and then in 2015, It was all hands on deck to do the sequel to Tron Legacy. And then Disney bought Star Wars. And then things radically changed at Disney. And apparently that was the only reason this project didn't go ahead in the first place. So you got Jared Leto, who auditioned in 2015 for a part in Tron Ascension, basically hijacked this and got Disney to do it, because he was in a couple of films which kind of launched him a bit more, even though one of the roles was a complete flop, as he was the Joker, wasn't he, in the Suicide Squad. And that kind of gave him a bit of a push too. So Disney were a little bit, we want Jared Leto, despite the amount of, he's had more flops than, how can I put it, more flops than a porno starred by 50-plus-year-old men. They can't get it up.
What?
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
Did I lose you somewhat there, Vex?
Yeah, maybe more flops than a fish out of water would be more fitting.
Yeah, that's good, but I wanted a bit more panache. This is nothing more embarrassing than a floppy old man. And I don't mean the gentleman's age.
Can I
I
ask
lost you there.
Oh, can I ask a question, actually, if I may, please and thank you?
You can indeed. Yes.
All right. What is the general plot of this movie?
There is none.
There is no real plot apart from you've got Greta Lee's character, Eve Kim. She's the Mary Sue of Encom, right? And basically they're using like these magical 3D printers, what can print programs into the real world. Now, the only problem is none of these creations can last longer than 29 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. So the race is on because Flynn hid a bit of digital DNA on a floppy disk in Alaska, right? So the race is on for Eve to find this digital DNA to, what was it, not permacode, what was the wordage, Esther? Do you remember?
Yeah, although you might as well have called it the Ring of Power or the Philosopher's Stone, it was called the Permanence Code.
That was it. I want thank you, Brian, as well for
you're roboting.
You're roboting a bunch.
Not this. Yeah, I'm going to sort that out in a moment. I've got a very enthusiastic 11-year-old who's on Xbox. He's been about it. I'm just going to pull the plug.
You might have to, yeah, because we could barely understand what you just said.
Yeah.
Hello?
It's
Okay. I'll tell you what, if Esther, if you want to chat with the rest of the panel and try and branch out on Brian's question, that'd be great. I'll be back in a moment.
Okay. Actually, Brian, I think this was it, but previous to this, it would have been Blade Runner 2049. I kind of think like he's the Johnny Depp, everybody of mid-career Johnny Depp before Pirates, where he did all these movies, and he's great, but they were all like flops.
Hold on. Who was he in Blade Runner 2049?
He was the main antagonist.
I don't remember this at all. This is how much I hated that movie. And I just watched it like a month ago.
Well, is that your answer then?
The company guy that we saw for literally 5 minutes? That guy?
Yeah. He was basically the new Terrell.
Okay,
that
I
created the psychotic robot that went around killing everyone for no apparent reason. Yes.
Nice.
You know what? I will say, because everyone does. Okay. I don't want anyone to take this out of context. Okay. I acknowledge that Jared Leto in real life is a terrible person. Okay. I do, however, think that regardless of his flops and questionable creative choices on certain roles, like the Joker, he's a competent actor. And
I agree.
Give him that.
I encourage people, if you're just like, oh, well, I've never seen him act in anything good, go watch Mr. Nobody. That's that's a phenomenal film on its own, but he is absolutely brilliant in it.
He's great in Dallas Buyers Club as well.
That too. But he was more of a secondary character in that, right? Like Mr. Nobody.
Yeah, but he shone as much as Matthew McConaughey's character.
He did.
Listen, he was uncharacteristically restrained in this movie, and he probably did the best job of anybody considering what they had to work with. But you should have said he's had more flops than the box of discs in this movie, because for some unknown reason, they hid the One Ring in a box of floppy disks inside of a Quonset hut in Alaska with no labels, just sitting there next to a 50-year-old IBM XT PC. Like, what the hell was that?
And I call bullshit as well. There wasn't a single fucking AOL disc in that pile.
Yeah, well, actually, this little piece, those things only hold 512 megabytes. There's no, you couldn't even fit the title of the permanence code onto like a 80s floppy. But right, the movie starts off, she's just checking all the discs. Like, if her sister found the code or wrote the code, or was it Flynn who wrote the code? Why did they just leave it unlabeled in a box of, ancient floppy disks in the middle of Antarctica? You said Alaska. I don't even think the movie made it clear where they were. It was just the frozen tundra, middle of nowhere. Okay.
I'll tell you something, with those floppy disk sizes, I don't think you'd have fit a nipple, not even an eighth of a nipple on one of those discs.
How big is the nipple?
I don't know. Quite large areolas, but there's 32 fucking discs for one nipple.
But can we talk about the magical 3D printer thing? That's why I equate it. It's like Rings of Power, where it's just Gandalf, waving his staff and making something, because there's no rhyme or reason or consistent world building for the creation of these objects, which have engines and power sources and brains and
defy physics as well.
Yeah,
if you noticed,
they offend physics beyond belief, particularly thermodynamics. But the fact is,
I know I know they wanted to do a soft reboot with this. Joaquin Roning did say he wanted to do something different and spin it on its head. Yeah. But in the established canon, when you come out of a grid and you are transposed out of the grid itself, you end up in a human form anyway, like Cora did. So any program coming out of any system would automatically be as a human in whatever capacity. I don't know how that's possible. Because, last time I checked, fucking McAfee, if you brought that out into the real world, it'd have lungs, heart, and a brain and everything else. That is just not remotely possible. But the whole thing with this, it spun it on its head completely, because you've got these biological 3D printers. And while that's great in theory, it just doesn't hold up. The science behind it is just bullshit. I know it's a film, I know it's a stretch of the imagination, but there's no way in hell you could accomplish this. And I just thought it's beyond the bounds of realism, where it starts taking the piss somewhat.
Well, in the established canon, you obey the laws of the universe you were sent into. So a user becomes digital. They do have a little bit of magical user energy, but otherwise they're just like the programs around them. And when you brought something out into our world, it had to obey our world's laws of physics. That's established canon for the first two films. But these things maintain their digital identities in the real world. So they could fly, they had unlimited energy, they could regenerate. They just did magical shit for 29 minutes until they de-resed. And my guess was 29 minutes was the limit of the writer's imagination, where they could hold on to an idea to have something even slightly coherent happen. After that, they're like, I don't remember what came out of that.
It's like almost they watched a bunch of films and stole little bits of lots of different films. Like the time limit, that just reminded me of Darkman. Where he'd got, what was it, 60? I can't remember. We did it a couple of weeks ago on just great movies, but that was a set time limit. Was it 99 minutes, if I remember right?
Yeah, and then his mask would just
fizzle off.
Yeah. Well, that made more sense than this stuff.
Yeah, but at least there was actual science, and they were using biological 3D printers back then. And that is actually now a thing because they can at least attempt to reproduce organs in a laboratory using your own stem cells. So that's not far from the truth, but this was just total horseshit. It's like whoever wrote this script, and I know exactly who wrote this script, was a chap called Jesse Wigatow. He wrote the screenplay, and then a couple of other people messed about with it. David D. Gilio and Jesse Wigatow obviously refined things a little bit more. And another thing which troubled me in the credits is that it said based on characters created by Steven Lisberger and Bonnie McBride. So they had zero involvement with this. So Disney had managed to basically weed him out of his own IP.
Listen, what were they made of? They had lasers, but there was no raw material. They just materialized magically out of thin air with incredible amounts of the mass of a tank.
Did you not know?
Motorcycle or person?
Did you not hear him say it was bullshittium?
Oh, no, I missed that. Just like Alaska.
There you go.
I literally missed that part.
Did you not see it? Well, he looked on a map and it said it was in Alaska where that tent was.
Listen, man, after that intro, I was lucky to pay the attention that I was able to pay to this thing. My brain was hurting and begging me to pour gasoline over my eyes. Okay.
Do you know that there was so much bloat? You know, it was beyond reason in certain points.
Yeah, I want to remind Franco. Sorry, these were 5 1/4 inch old floppies, not even the little plastic Mac ones.
Yeah. Not the ones that used to get on Computer User or Young Hamster Lover Monthly with the free AOL disc, of course. Oh, just bear with me one sec.
Oh, Swappers, did you have a most disappointing Jared Leto film?
I haven't got any real. I mean, as far as good films go that he's done, I mean, what are there? I mean, Blade Runner 2049 I thought was a big letdown. And he wasn't particularly memorable in it as Vex.
A big letdown. That movie was a giant steaming pile of fucking shit. That is the definition of just putting like it's. You know what? It's kind of like okay. So people with IBS don't have solid shits. So it's like if someone with IBS finally took a solid shit. That's what Blade Runner 2049 was. It wasn't.
Yet again, another film made within the last 10 years that there was absolutely no need for.
Yeah.
And another fecal reference to cinema, a cinematic fecal reference. We're getting a lot of those.
This turd cost Disney $180 million, apparently.
No, it costs more than I don't believe Disney's budgets like they've always been 60% higher, almost to the percentage. Whenever the real budget comes out, like Rings of Power, like the Acolyte, the Acolyte ended up being 350 million, not the 120.
Probably 80 million of that. 80 million of that to keep Jared Leto's victims quiet.
Question is is that budget including the 7 years that they spent on Ascension or
No, that apparently that was wrote off when they bought Star Wars, because they basically told Joseph Kaczynski this is going nowhere, so that's why he moved on rather sharpish.
That's probably why they canned the Black Hole sequel as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that was touted in Tron Legacy as well, because we had old Bob and a couple of sentry guards on Sam's sideboard in his bedroom.
Yeah.
But according to Wikipedia anyway, $180 million budget, which I think is total horseshit. I'd say at least double that. What say you?
if I may, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Feel
like
free.
the budget's probably a lot. Like the actual filming and production budget is probably a lot higher. Just because you say that they wrote them off, but I know that they did take ideas from that scrap sequel, and Leto had he had tried out for roles in that. So I don't know if he was on a retainer or anything. Should this come to light at some point, I imagine that there were also several scripts that popped up ever since Tron Legacy in 2010 on top of that, which probably added to the budget. But in terms of marketing, I don't think they went as hardcore as they normally do on marketing, because I was thinking like I didn't see YouTube ads anywhere, didn't see any like little pop-up advertisements on like, my game apps or anything like that. Nothing on YouTube whatsoever. Even when I was watching other movie trailers, didn't see a single one in any movie theater, I think this year. And we were at Disney Springs, which is like a shopping district in Orlando next to Disney World. And usually they go all out with marketing upcoming films there, because they've got like a Lego store there as well. So like they'll put out, like, if there's a Star Wars movie coming out, they'll build like this giant Lego set for one of the characters or something in the upcoming thing, right? But we went there, and the only advertisement was outside the cinema that's in that shopping district. There was no ads, and not even on bus stands. I saw no advertising for this.
Yeah, which is bizarre. There does seem to be a very distinct lack of push with this film.
Right.
And if you've got a big, well, I wouldn't say a tremendously big IP, but this does have a tremendously big fan base. There's a lot of fanboys associated with Tron. And you would have thought, Disney would have pushed this a little bit harder instead of letting it ride its own coattails. That is just so contrary. If you're, you've done say they did, the budget was 180 million, and they did go with that. The thing is, you want to recoup that back. This film is not going to meet nowhere near it. It's not. This film will not hit budget, not even after 6 months.
They had a huge marketing push with all people, the Tesla Optimus robots. They were doing these gigantic arena events. The company that they were in a war with a few months ago, that people were setting their products on fire and blowing them up. So that was very weird, but they're not going to put a $200 movie out with no huge marketing push behind it. They may not have dropped 150 on the P&A, but they spent at least, 80, 100 million on this, just for the fact that you don't put a movie with this kind of budget out there without a huge marketing push behind it, because it's too risky. But the fact is, the tracking never changed in the last month before the release of this movie. And that's where all that marketing money comes out. So it was projected to do around 40 million, 45 domestic a month ago. And after the huge marketing push, it was still projected to do the same number. So with all that marketing money behind it, it didn't really budge the projection at all, which says the people that were going to see it were going to see it, but they're the only ones that are going to see it.
And I thought that was total horseshit as well. The factory where they were making, where these 3D digital printers were, Athena prints a recognizer.
Yeah,
that is just, hang on a minute. The physics of that premise itself is just implausible. There was not. I mean, fair enough. I saw her doing it in bits, but it was just still utter horseshit.
And Professor R2 pointed out, by the time they finished this thing, the side they started on, it would have been 29 minutes, and it would already start falling apart, because this thing took forever to print. And he also brought up, he said this was the best example of and then storytelling that he'd ever seen. There was literally, because there was no coherent world built for this movie, and they went against the previous established canon. It was just like, this happened, and this happened, and then this happened, and then there was the only setup and payoffs this had was when they pulled in the member berries. Otherwise, it was just random events coincidentally happening, because the story required it. I was going to say plot, but calling this thing a plot is giving it undue credit.
Well, the member berries in the final act, I thought the film in itself had done quite well, because in terms of member berries, it was very light on those. It was very light on callbacks. And I thought, wow, I'm really impressed at this point. Just a quickie, Sword in the Storm says Hasbro have announced a Tron HasLab, which is 5 3 3/4 inch figures and 2 light cycles. There's also a backdrop with that as well, for $260. DestronSolar was telling me about this earlier today, and I just think that's fucking way out. Bigger sticker, says Melv, wrenched for £2. Thank you. That's a potnecker. Wow.
Question. Sorry,
Mhm.
question again. So because from what it's been some time since I've rewatched it, but I remember Tron Legacy ending kind of with the setup for another story or for that story to continue. So is there no tie-in to that
Right.
really?
It's right at the very end. I see. This is the thing. Do I give spoilers, or do we just think fuck it at this point and just go for it anyway?
I'm
I
fine
don't-
with spoilers.
I don't think there's anything really to spoil in this, and to be
Right.
honest,
At
I
the
think we have a
end-
responsibility to warn people off.
Well, you know, it's up to people to take what they want from this and do things accordingly.
Spoiler warning, chat. Then spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler
galore.
warning. At the end of the film, Eve gets a postcard from, let's just say, Mexico, for argument's sake.
Mhm.
And
Cyber Jesus.
yeah, Cyber Jesus Jared Leto, aka Tron Ares, is in Mexico, and he's discovering the world that he's been brought into. And it's brought up that Sam and Cora are off doing something, and now there is the possibility that Jared Leto's character is seeking Cora for answers or how to fit in the new universe he's existing in. So that was the only real tie-in. We did have an appearance from Jeff Bridges as Flynn, which I thought was total fucking horseshit, but they did more or less recreate the grid from the original Tron movie.
Okay.
Yeah, and he might have just been looking to have a three-way with Cora and Sam because
Lucky bastard, who
but-
wouldn't?
But listen, does the guy need to eat? Does he take a shit? Is he alive?
does now.
What's he made of? So with that little floppy disk and that could hold 2 pieces of ASCII porn, it changed him from what he was, a 29-minute, I don't know, to a permanent guy that now has to eat and poop. What?
Well, they didn't elaborate on that, but for all intents and purposes, he is now a physical human, although he is a bit more enhanced than the rest of us, because he's lightning fast, super intelligent, and all that bollocks.
Yeah, the film just doesn't, like I
It
said, magic.
leaves more questions than it answers,
Yeah, it's
which is a
sort of-
sign of poor writing, and yet again, severe lack of world building, because it's just like, well, there you go, it's Tron. There you go, just accept it.
Yeah,
And people are curious. People want to know. You get people who perhaps still live at home with the parents, which isn't a bad thing. They've probably never had sex, but they do question the world in which we live in, even though they're in the 30s.
So basically, the film. That's why I call it. This is a badly written sword and sorcery movie with a cyber techno paint job, a facade, because, oh, we need a dragon. We'll just make a dragon. Oh, we need to fly over here. Well, you can fly. Look, it's magic. But even in a fantasy film, they have some kind of rules. In this movie, there are no rules whatsoever, except the rule I'm sure was in his contract is that I have to be the good guy because I'm Jared Leto and I have to be awesome and people are going to love me. So I'm not going to do anything bad.
Of course, it's all about Jared Leto. This is it's just about him. It's just a selfish, just one big Jared Leto wank.
Can we talk about the little Navy SEAL hacking scene toward the front of the movie? Like in the first 2 movies, we had a very consistent metaphor of how the real world worked and how the grid worked and how programs worked. And there was a relationship between them. In this film, the Dillinger, who, by the way, super cucked, this was like a triple girl boss film. And Dillinger, who initially appeared to be the bad, evil white guy, was nothing but a whiny little cuck who was constantly berated and nagged by his better and more powerful and stronger and more always right mom, played by Gillian Anderson, by the way, in a terribly wasted performance. But he's hacking into Incom and they go into the computer world, the grid, And they got like these little Navy SEAL guys in red that are just magically, you know, breaking into the system, doing what, like there was none of that relationship that we had established already over 2 films between the digital realm and the physical realm. It was just like, we're just going to have this little Navy SEAL team and then we're going to blow up everything at the end. It made absolutely no sense in terms of a cyber analogy or anything else. It was just, let's make this look cool, and it won't make any sense.
And we'll use bad metaphors to describe what happens. And I just thought that was just fucking ridiculous. Because, like you say, you've got Julian Dillinger, who's the grandson of Ed Dillinger from the first movie. And this made me laugh in Tron Legacy, right? You got Cillian Murphy as Edward Dillinger Jr., right? How would that clown even get a fucking job at Encom and be praised so highly? His dad nearly single-handedly ruined the business because he was a thief. And
yeah, their family should have been in disgrace, not the head of a rival multi-trillion-dollar company.
And Cillian Murphy didn't even want a credit for that as well. So I think he's a better guy than what Jared Leto is, because this was just hedonism, pure hedonism.
He saw the script, and so did Garrett Hedlund, and they said they politely declined. They didn't want to have anything to do with this mess. But so in the end of that hacking thing, they set off, a logic bomb in the computer, and it shuts like everything down across the world. Like anything Incom all of a sudden like stops working. But then it happens in reverse at the end. They do the same thing to Dillinger. They essentially shut down the computer, but somehow he's still able to escape into that computer, which is no longer working. How does that work?
Yeah, a lot of implausibility. And when they say stretch of the imagination with this in places is stretched so incredibly thin. There's nothing left at all. And
can we talk about Seth for a second? I'm sorry, but Seth,
oh God, do we have to?
That just epitome of soy boy femininity cuckitude that was Eve's assistant. Oh my. Think of like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Conan or Commando. Think of the most masculine thing you could possibly think of. Then take the mirror image of that, everything it's not. And that is Eve's, Ray, Super Cyber Jesus Mark II, her assistant. Just even looking at him on screen, it drove me nuts.
Did you notice how the world building, the very minimal world building that they had for Eve, was the tragedy regarding her brighter sister, who she was partnered with to bring Encom back after Sam's terrible running, because, he's a white male and he's toxic. And he was toxic to the business, so they had to get a couple of really smart Asians in to bail Encom out. But tragedy strikes because her sister's downed by some form of cancer. And every now and again, they have a twinge at that to try and make her appear human, like she's got some painful backstory that people can actually relate to in some fashion. And I thought that was a little bit underhanded and cruel and very shallow, which probably reflects badly on the writing staff, because, like you said previously, this film, there's more substance in Kevin Bacon's character in Hollow Man than there is in this script.
I thought you were going to say Footloose, but that works too.
Well, yeah, whatever floats your boat.
So she had discovered the One Ring, and then why? She just left it in the box of floppy disks.
I don't get that analogy, because I wasn't stupid enough to watch that particular show.
Oh, I was thinking, well, it's just the magical MacGuffin, call it the Philosopher's Stone, whatever. So she finds
there's too many scripts relying on MacGuffins these days. Instead of having real substance within a script, why is it now you've got these people in Hollywood writing these scripts so badly, and everybody's going, oh, that's marvelous. Oh, yeah. Failing upwards seems to be rewarded more than genuine talent in Tinseltown these days, and I think that's got to stop. Yeah, people want entertaining. They don't want fucking lecturing or sitting down. I mean, it's not cheap to go to the cinema. I mean, It cost me 23 quid for me and my son, because obviously he's not an adult. And I thought that was quite expensive for what it was. And they're going to have to get a lot of arses on seats to make that 180 million plus more back worldwide. But the thing is, if you're not giving people value for money in terms of decent quality writing, right? Believable worlds, believable characters, what is the fucking point of going to the cinema? Why even fucking release a film what's not fit for purpose, Vex?
No, I wanted to ask another question. My apologies.
Sure.
Was this at least visually very appealing? Like, would you say there was entertainment? Okay, so there's entertainment and big screen value there.
But you know, why do you disagree? Because I disagree with your disagreeing.
Because they had some amazing CGI elements, but overall, when you composited and you put everything together, it was just a visual mess of red that gives you a headache, and you can't really appreciate what's going on because there's so much shit happening on the screen at the one time. It didn't have the clean, glossy look of Tron Legacy, which looked gorgeous, and when you watch those light cycles, you could tell what was going on. Here there was just random ribbons of light flowing around, and not where they would have been had those objects really been tracking. It was just a bunch of shit thrown on screen. Yeah, the light cycle was cool, but when they put it in the scene, it was an aesthetic disaster. Nothing read appropriately. Visual storytelling, you couldn't really see what was going on. It was just a bunch of frenetic action with no rhyme or reason behind it. And that's why I say visually.
Did you notice on the original server that when Ares was given the light cycle by the bit, it looked a bit janky. The actual CGI animation looked too slow. It's almost like they wanted to highlight the fact that, oh, look, this is the old system. Oh, it's not as good as the new system. So anything before our new system is obviously going to be that antiquated and slow. And it didn't have the pace of the original movie in those scenes.
Well, I would just tell anybody to watch the light cycle battle from Tron Legacy and compare it to the light cycle scenes from this movie and tell me which one really looked good, which one was more enjoyable, which one, was fun.
Did you notice in places that the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack tried very hard in places to emulate both Wendy Carlos's soundtrack and also the Daft Punk soundtrack from 2012?
Yeah, it was okay, but it didn't stand out. It didn't have the atmospheric coherence. It wasn't
my foot was tapping quite regularly at some of the parts, but I thought the motifs and logos that they used were actually plagiarized from previous installments within the franchise.
Well, they're allowed to do that since the Disney owns.
Yeah, but artistic license and plagiarism are just that was another thing. Trent Reznor, he's going to do the soundtrack. He even got a producer's credit as well in the film.
Listen, at every moment of Legacy, I was keyed in, locked into the music, and I was just a part of the movie, man. I was in it. I actually like that movie better than most. And
it was great. The soundtrack had gravitas. I mean, Wendy, for all intents and purposes, yes, fair enough. A lot of what Wendy Carlos did was done on old Moog synthesizers with a bit of help from a couple of orchestras. But that carried itself. It screamed video games. It screamed the 80s. And also, conversely, the Daft Punk soundtrack also carried its weight within its world as well. Both soundtracks complement those films perfectly. But this soundtrack, it just felt like, oh, we'll pinch a bit here, we'll pinch a bit there. But because we're Nine Inch Nails and I'm Trent Reznor and I've got a producer's credit on this film, people are going to fucking cream the pants over it. And I wasn't that thrilled and I wasn't that sold about it. Although I did enjoy a few tiny pieces. There were very small aspects of this soundtrack I liked. Whereas with Tron Legacy, I loved it all the way through. And the Wendy Carlos soundtrack, I think still now is fantastic. It is phenomenal.
Well, that's what I was getting at. The music wasn't bad, but it didn't stay. I didn't really notice it. It wasn't a standout for me like in the first two films, and so it just ended up being a little bit of a. It was just something that was there. It wasn't bad, but it didn't complement the. Part of it was what kind of emotional beats are in this film that you could complement. They didn't really have anything to work with.
No, I didn't think it carried. It didn't have that weight to it, you know. An IP of this stature, right? Because this is this is 1982 was when we were first treated to the first installment of this universe, and you'd think with a great heritage like this, they would want more impact. They would want more depth. They would want to, you know, for everybody who were paying the money, sitting down in a seat to watch this film, you would reward them justly. But it's almost like, you know, people have gone, oh, that's marvellous, Trent. What do you think? Oh, marvellous. You've got a lot of fucking sycophants just telling people that they're doing such a wonderful job when perhaps they're not quite hitting the mark. Anyone? Anyway, I'm just bored of talking about this now. That's how exciting it's got. I just got to the point now where I've run out of steam. I've run out of steam talking about this film.
Can I make a really hot take?
You can indeed.
Here? Okay.
Yes. As hot as you like, dear.
I can understand why the original Tron and Tron Legacy have a big fan base and a fan following, but I've always seen both of those films more as like demos for how good things can look in films rather than being an actual film.
Yeah.
So if Tron Ares looks really good, I would say it's kind of succeeded as a sequel, but it confirms kind of with the Ascension cancellation stuff, because this movie is like 15 years way too late. Nobody cares about special effects anymore, especially when we've got an Avatar movie out every year now. Yeah. And then those Planet of the Apes movies have just done phenomenal work with motion cap, right? So it's like you can't sell seats on visual spectacle in a CGI sense anymore. But
no,
I don't know. That's just me. I think
you make a valid point there. You know, if you're serving something up, you have to have a bit of variety there. You can't just put one item on the menu and expect everybody to fucking eat it just because you're telling them it's good, even though it isn't. And I did have a point to make, but you know, I've lost fucking interest completely now. I didn't think I would, but I have. Anyway, we're going to move. Right, I'm going to give everybody a choice. Do we go on to roast James Gunn, or do we rip Peacemaker to fucking shreds? Because that's another piss-poor example. I said disappointment comes in threes. So we've had Tron Ares, disappointing. But, you know, all right in places. Passable with care. But definitely not worth the price of admission, I don't think. I think it'll be on the high seas before you know it, mateys. So, do we go for we're going to do a double dose of James Gunn anyway. So, do we roast Superman first, or do we go for Peacemaker? Vex, what do you fancy?
Which ones have you seen, Vex? Oh, she's muted.
Oh. Anyway, swappers. What do you fancy, Superman or Peacemaker?
I know more about Superman, so I'd vote for that one.
Right.
I've seen neither, but I'd go for that one.
Well, that's a good start. Somebody once told me, make sure when you get people on your panel that you get them talking about stuff and that they've actually fucking seen it. But here we go. Here he is, the saviour of the DCU, James Gunn, who did a fantastic job of Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's stuck with that format ever since. You know, have some good action scenes and a killer soundtrack. It's all about the fucking soundtracks. Let's pick some random obscure rock songs that he played in his bedroom when he was growing up and just smatter those into every film that he does. And I think his style now, it is so fucking tired. What do you reckon, Swappers?
I think you're absolutely right. Sadly, It's a shame, isn't it? It's a real shame because he had such a great start with so many projects. You know, right back when he did Super, I think he showed a lot of promise, and I thought, oh, he's obviously got an eye and an intelligent mind for a kind of the quirky, skewed view of superheroes and pop culture, which he proved greatly with Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. And number 3, I thought, less so. But
that was the cash grab, wasn't it? He knew his time was up at Marvel and Disney. Yeah. So he thought, hang on a minute, I'll do the cash grab.
Yeah, he shot himself in the foot with the whole kind of text thing.
Yeah,
he got too big for his boots with that one, and thought, oh no, I can't be taken down. I'm too great now. No one will ban me from anything. Then suddenly gets sacked from Marvel.
Well, his brother's really annoyed because that's the only work his brother gets, isn't it? Appearing in his in his films.
He only ever gets cast by his brother. So probably all his mates as well. They're the only ones that his movies and his projects are the only ones that they get cast in these days.
Yeah, because he made an appearance at the beginning of season 2 of Peacemaker.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, so
seems a nice guy. Seems he's probably a very nice guy, but I don't know. I don't think
anything that James Gunn makes, I'm always expecting one of the cast of his previous projects to pop up out of nowhere at any given moment. You know, like from Slither, which was a really good film. I'm expecting like Nathan Fillion to turn up, or
that's another thing I don't like about him, because he brings all the same people back over and over and over again. He's just recycle.
It's nice, film, isn't it? It's like a carry-on movie, yeah.
I mean, it's great. You know, you work with a bunch of people. You can work with them. You can bounce off them. You know, you can have a whale of a time with them. But you don't make your career out of using the same people. I mean, Nathan Fillion, bless him, he seems a really, really nice guy. But he's old. And there are rumours he's fucking totally bald now, but he wears a hairpiece.
Wow,
I don't know how true that is. Yeah, apparently it is. Hello to everybody in the chat as well. I'm not forgetting you guys, but you are up on the screen now, so feel free to fucking go for it and rant all you wish. I don't think James Gunn is all that and a bag of crisps. I don't think he is the saviour of the DCU. I don't think the DCU's had much of a chance. And especially with infighting like with Zack Snyder and whatnot, that's not done any credibility to the stable either. But apart from, the original Superman, which was good, I also enjoyed Cavill as Superman, not Brandon Routh though.
We all enjoyed Cavill as Superman.
Yeah, he didn't even load his guns in Superman, did he? He didn't need to. You know, anybody up for Witcher season 4? Because apparently that's looking rather disappointing.
Listen, hot take. Okay, I'm not going to watch that Witcher show because even when Henry Cavill was involved in it, it wasn't a good show. I thought it was a terrible show from the get-go. He was a great Geralt. Everything else sucked. But
I agree.
Liam Hemsworth, who is taking over, is the hottest Hemsworth. I'm sorry.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, men don't do it for me personally, so I'll defer to your better judgment on that.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen their mother, so I can't comment.
Oh, well, no, because there's like 4 Hemsworth brothers, right? So there's Chris Hemsworth, who's Thor. Then there's Liam. Then there's the chonky one who is in Terminator, or not Terminator. Terminal is Dark Wolf. I can't remember which one that is. And there's a 4th one that kind of never shows up.
They're like the Baldwin's Redux, aren't they?
Yeah, but I mean, overall, far more talented and more attractive than the Baldwin family has ever and will ever be. So,
and probably less of a trigger finger as well.
Very much so.
Less said about that, the better. Just from your perspective, Vex, what are your initial thoughts about James Gunn based on his track record at Marvel? I think personally he's just doing a copy and paste on everything and keeps bringing and rotating his stable of actors and whatnot. But what do you think when you think? I mean, don't just say, "Oh, he's fucking wank." What are your initial thoughts when you think James Gunn?
He's a one-trick pony who just got really lucky.
I thought you were going to say wanker there for a moment. I was panicking.
It's kind of so because like DC, because Marvel started doing their cinematic universe, and then with Snyder, DC kind of, they really backed him into a corner and just like, we need to catch up to what Marvel is doing, because they have like 2 Avengers movies out and we don't even have a Justice League movie out, right? So they kind of fumble the bag because they keep trying to chase a trend, and then they see James Gunn and they see the success he had with Guardians of the Galaxy 1, which I think for basically everyone who didn't know those characters from the comic books, it was a surprise, because you didn't expect characters that that hadn't really been relevant in the nerd sphere whatsoever to suddenly have such a strong presence in it and a strong influence. So then they try to recruit him for that Suicide Squad movie, which just felt like Guardians of the Galaxy, but with Suicide Squad characters
as well.
It's like, it was better than the other one, but it wasn't that much better. And then he did Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which I think is the best out of the 3 personally. But then the whole, I think it builds.
How so? Why does that stand out when the first one is basically the mold for the rest?
The second one just deals with fatherhood. I think that's what really gets me, is like all of these characters are trying. Well, not all of these. Sorry. Let me backtrack. Peter Quill, Star-Lord, right? So he's trying to figure out where his family is, who his real father is. So you have this great introduction of Ego, his father, and then there's also the contrast with Yondu, who's basically become a default father, but he's always associated as just a dude that trained me how to be a thief for his own benefit. So you have that interesting development with Quill, which isn't really seen in most Marvel movies at this point. You see it a little bit with Tony Stark, but even then, the father issues don't really come into play until Captain America: Civil War, like in a big way, right? And then there's this, with all of the characters outside of Quill, there's this thing of like family. Like we don't have family. We're all wayward. We don't know where we belong, but we've been given the opportunity to choose our own family. And we have a group of people that genuinely look out for each other, that love each other, that care about how the other is doing. So the movie ends up just being about family by the very end of it. It doesn't matter where you come from, who you are, what you've done. There's family out there for you, even in the darkest, most obscure corners of the universe. So that's why I prefer Guardians of the Galaxy 2 over.
I like that. That is a lovely way to describe why you like that, and that really, really is good. I like that.
Thank you. But it's
and it's Kurt Russell.
Right. Kurt Russell helps as well, right? But anyways, so back to James Gunn though. So then after Guardians 2, then there's the whole kerfuffle with Guardians 3, right? Because he gets fired by Marvel for a period of time.
Rightly so as well.
What was the reason he got fired?
Very P3DO type texts and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
He was very questionable, very irresponsible with his opinions and views. He did a bit of wrong thing. He was a bit of a wrong 'un. So he was punished accordingly.
Gotcha. So I think when that... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. It was quite just and fair. But the thing is, it seems as though somebody at Disney said, look, James, give it 18 months. It'll blow over. Don't worry. You have a nice hiatus and then you can come back refreshed. And then you can have your swan song. We'll give you that.
There you go. Yeah. So, but then he was running his mouth quite a bit during that time period too, right? But DC saw that and I'm just like, hey, if this guy can turn characters that nobody gives a shit about, that nobody really talks about, and bring in like $700-800 million to the box office, maybe we should scoop him up for our DC movies, which even with Man of Steel did not perform that well for, a cinematic universe launching point kind of deal, right? But that's also a problem with Superman. Doesn't have worldwide interest. Superman is an American character, so only Americans will only ever really care about him, versus Batman, who has far wider appeal, right?
You make a good point there, because it's almost as if Superman is an analogy for America.
He really is, down to as a normie who's just watched the films and then seen some of the cartoons. It's just like, I've always seen Superman as like the quintessential embodiment of everything that is good and supposed to be American. I like, so if you're in fucking India. Like, you're not going to give a shit about Superman. But Batman's interesting because regardless of where he is, it's a billionaire, but with human problems, and everyone can relate to human problems regardless of wealth, sort of deal.
Yeah,
but
you make a good point about India because people are more bothered where they're going to get the next lassie from.
That too, right? So I don't know, James Gunn, it just kind of feels like because WB is chasing these trends and they see these little sparks of success that he did have, that they really jumped the gun, pun intended, and hired this guy to lead an entire universe. But he's not the right guy. And I think Superman shows that perfectly. Like, James Gunn is good at writing anti-heroes, not pure heroes. And Superman will always be a pure hero, which is why he's not even the main character in his debut film. And on top of that, James Gunn doesn't actually have any talent. Like, his formula, as we've seen time and time again, is the exact same. He doesn't know how to reinvent the wheel.
He has a real major flaw in his script writing.
Mm-hmm.
And when he hasn't got an idea or he's lacking, he uses a musical interlude and picks some rather obscure track from his childhood.
Yeah,
probably spent too much time on a back seat listening to 8 tracks on family vacations back in the day. But I've made a few arguments for a flop and against a flop when it comes to Superman. So I was just thinking, when it comes to being a flop, that it's not profitable, right? Because the thing is, over on the Wikipedia page, it says that the David Corenswet, that name just makes me piss, the Superman film that came out earlier this year had a budget of $225 million. And apparently it's made back $615.8 million back at the box. Now, the accounting department says there's a big discrepancy somewhere. So a recent report indicates that the film was not profitable because its total cost, including the budget of $225 million and an estimated $125 million in marketing, was approximately $350 million, exceeding its box office revenue.
That's not including the reshoots as well.
Exactly, yes. Then you make a very good point there. How many reshoots were there? It was all over X and a lot of other places and outlets on the internet. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on that, Vegs? Because you've got James Gunn on the ropes here.
Oh, do I? I mean,
it's not hard though.
Yeah, what else is there to really I mean, again, this Superman doesn't have large scale appeal, and on top of that, you're rebooting this universe
again.
In just the span of just a couple of years, and you're also like, then remember there was that whole casting fiasco. So Henry Cavill was back, and he was announcing it, and everyone was excited, and then like a month later, it was like, no, we're rebooting the entire thing. So there was that whiplash. The people that would actually pay to see this really did like Henry Cavill in the role, and you kind of replaced him with a Temu version of him. But you didn't
he's not even that. He's less than Wish, isn't he?
Right. It's a very strange I don't know. This shouldn't have been like, Superman shouldn't have been given his own movie, in all honesty. If you ask me.
The weird thing is, when I think of Superman, I'm obviously firstly drawn to Christopher Reeve's portrayal.
For sure, yeah.
That was my Superman. But when I think of anybody else in that role, I automatically think of Cavill. I thought he did the character justice.
Yeah.
And he really, the way he was, his mannerisms, his body language, the way he reacted with people, the way he just played the role in general, was sublime, you know? Christopher Reeve, he's the quintessential Superman.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
But he didn't have the acting chops what Cavill has, you know? I mean, fair enough, Christopher Reeve will be the original and best because he for a lot of my generation, especially Gen X, he was Superman.
Oh, he's my Superman before even Cavill, to be fair. Like, so I just like Cavill because, you know, he gets my ovaries going. But when it comes to Superman, Christopher Reeves will always take the cake.
There was also a disappointing international performance as well, because Gunn attributed the character not being a global pop culture icon like Batman. And, you know, as we mentioned, you know, there's a lot of anti-American sentiment in the world. But Gunn also sort of like fell back on fan criticism. He said some fans of the previous Superman iteration had been criticising the new film, calling it a flop, and finding other issues with its portrayal of the character and the story. But I thought overall, Gunn's story was yet again sadly lacking. And I noticed one particular bit, and I'm surprised Disney haven't come a knocking with the legal team, because he'd fucking ripped Lilo and Stitch off in one season. I don't know if you saw that.
Which scene was that?
You know when Lex Luthor was creating the distraction and he chucked that little thing out, the little creature? It looked just like fucking Stitch. Or am I the only one that saw that?
Can I be honest with you? Like, I basically wiped that entire movie from my memory. It was so bad.
Oh, you lucky bugger. I wish I could wipe it from my memory, because it truly is. It's like, yet again, it's another production that nobody asked for, nobody wanted. I mean, I certainly didn't want it. I mean, look at this guy. He looks wet behind the ears.
This is where, like, I don't like Zack Snyder as a creator whatsoever, but like, credit where credit is due is when he made Man of Steel, he made it as it was a lot. Yes, it had the potential to launch a new cinematic universe, but it could easily be a completely standalone film. You could have a Man of Steel sequel and it could just be in its own isolated universe, just like, the Dark Knight trilogy, for example, right? The thing with all of these, like, because Marvel has been doing the tie-in thing for so long, we're tired of the tie-in thing because it's just extra homework. It's not fun anymore. Right?
Holding your audience hostage, so they have to go and see the next 6 films, which probably aren't the IP that you want to watch, is a terrible thing. That turned me off from Marvel. And then when I got to certain films I did want to watch, because it had been so interwoven with other IPs, I'd lost track. And I was thinking, what the fuck is going on here? Why can't they just make it a simple story?
Exactly. So like it was fun for those first 3 phases, but now it's just it's too much, and especially when you've got some of the crap that they're churning out on Disney Plus. I just want to go back to isolated superhero movies. Like, it works so well with Batman, the way that they've extended that universe with like the Penguin TV show. That's nice. Have little spin-offs like that, but not everything has to be a universe. So like, if you're going to do a Superman film, again, I don't think they should have made a Superman film, but if you're going to do one, this should just be an isolated story. You can have Easter eggs to other characters that maybe exist in here, but they don't have to be all in a tie-in universe. We don't care about tie-in universes anymore. This also should have been...
You mentioned Penguin. I thought Colin Farrell was fucking sublime as the Penguin.
He really was. He really he's an actor that's like, he's like Matthew McConaughey. Just suddenly his career does like a flip in the middle, and he's just awesome. Because Matthew McConaughey was just the pretty boy. In fact,
there's only one thing I've seen Colin Farrell in when I was totally disappointed, and that was that porno he made. But anyway, just a quickie, because Gavin, the chat, says I'm ignoring everybody, so let's just have a bit of a catch-up with the chat.
Okay.
Rodent says Christopher Reeve gave a great interview in the 90s. He said if you make a movie for an imagined audience, the movie won't be critically or commercially successful and won't be original. Okay. I agree with that to a slight degree. Hello to Garbage, who's in the chat. Sword in the Storm. What's this from Sword in the Storm? Corin Sweat is not the issue for me. Well, that's true, because it's the script at the end of the day. It's whoever's directing. It's whoever's written the material. Atom Gray says at this point there's more Superman movies I haven't seen than the ones I have. I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
It is a case of that. Garbage says the most important thing was they weren't woke. They weren't the best Hollywood could offer, but at least they weren't woke. Well, there is that in, I suppose. Sword in the Storm also says Farrell may have been good, but that wasn't the Penguin he was playing. Well, it might be Penguin in name, but for what he was doing with the material he got, he fucking acted. And he didn't do it cheap. He really, really gave it his all. At least he's giving you something in return. Whereas you might get another big name who thinks, oh, well, I'm the shit. So I can just fucking go in there, act all prima donna, take the money and run. And, you know, he doesn't care what you think. I think Farrell actually liked the material he was given. He understood it. He knew some of the universe in which the Penguin existed in. And he did it instead of it being a hyperbolic character, like, for instance, Danny DeVito or Burgess Meredith playing the Penguin. You know, Colin Farrell made this character his own. It didn't necessarily have to be like a physical penguin, you know. He was more of a metaphorical penguin. He acted the penguin, but he did it in a modern way. He was more vicious than any other actor who played that part or character, you know. He fucking acted it. Vex, I wonder if you could elaborate a little bit more on this, because you seem to be singing from the same hymn sheet as me on this one.
Hold on, what am I Sorry, I'm everywhere right now. Sorry.
Oh right, sorry. I'm a bit like ADHD on ADHD with a dash of autism, just for good measure.
You're
but
good,
hey ho,
you're
that's
good.
just me.
Sorry. Expand on what?
You know, people saying, "Oh well, you know, Colin Farrell's fucking wank. He was shit as fucking Penguin." It's not a case of that. Just because he didn't use a prosthetic to make himself look like Danny DeVito or Burgess Meredith, he acted the Penguin. He was the Penguin, not physically, although he was wearing prosthetics, but he, instead of like being a fucking physical metaphor, he was a criminal. He wasn't soft. He wasn't sort of, you know, there was no hyperbole about him. There was no caricature. He was a fucking criminal. He acted the part as a criminal. He was selling it for me more than, you know, fucking Burgess Meredith walking in dressed like a fucking penguin with a fucking cigarette on a long stick and going whack, 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 Batman, you know, doing all that, or doing what Danny DeVito did. You know, he made this character his own. He gave it that 21st century feel. You know, you don't have to dress up like a fucking penguin to be the Penguin. You know,
there's value in both versions. Like there's value in Danny DeVito's versions with the very comic booky feel. There's value in Colin Farrell's version, which grounds the character a lot more. It's the same thing with like different versions of the Jokers. They're all so different that I can't say one is better than the other. Like the execution is just, it's across the board. So they're incomparable to me. But I honestly, I like how, because I have heard that comment is like, oh, well, he's wearing a suit, so it doesn't really matter. Why didn't they just hire a fat guy? I think it says more about an actor if they're able to put on a suit or heavy prosthetics and change their look altogether, and then truly physically get into the feet of someone that is so opposite to them and deliver that performance. I think that puts you well above everyone else in your class. Like that's how I see Brendan Fraser. I hated that fucking movie, The Whale. I thought it was a shit movie.
Yeah, it was.
But like, you're right. But like for a guy who was like a sex symbol at one point and who was like ripped as hell for the peak of his career, and then suddenly to just be a depressed, overweight guy and really get into that role and sell it, like his performance was phenomenal regardless of the film, that puts him a leg up above everyone else for me.
It was almost like he was acting me. Right, I'm just going to pause. I need to calm down. I need to fucking have a bit of a mental pause. So I'm going to play an advert.
This December, Just Great Movies explores the greatest science fiction franchise of all time.
Star Trek December's coming soon. Ho, 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 motherfuckers. And I've got a very, very big surprise. The week before December, boy, have I got a fucking film for you on Just Great Movies. More on that a little bit later on. A bit of shameless self-pluggage there for me, but fuck it, it's my show. Hey! First time I've been encouraged to say that more often, but I don't want to. That's as close as I get with shit like that, I'm afraid. But I don't mind plugging stuff. As I'll be plugging B-sides a little bit later on, and not just because Atom Gray's in the chat, because I genuinely fucking love B-sides. I like one of the guests, Vex. He's like a mermaid's flannel. He's wetter than an otter's pocket. I think we know what we're talking about, don't you?
Oh, yes,
Sorry.
we do.
Oh, Smilex. I will get you on my show one day. It's all right. It's just the otter thing. I've got a thing for wet otters' pockets and the like, you see. Anyway, we're getting totally off track. Yet again, I'm like swaying way off and tangenting. But Esther, what do you think about the Superman movie? Is it total fucking garbage? Is it a fucking flop? Do you think DC ought to try something a little bit different? Maybe a different direction with a different director?
Well, first of all, there are other categories of movies a movie can be in than a hit or a flop. And in fact, this thing just sort of sits in the middle. If it was a regular movie, it would be okay. It's going to make money in the pay 2 windows, even though the VOD wasn't. The VOD sales were really, really low. They had to drop the price twice. But they're going to get $100 million once eventually it's going to go on Netflix. It'll make money over time, like the Mission Impossible movies. But so it wasn't a complete flop. But I guarantee you, over at DC, the executives, this movie was a tremendous disappointment. And the fact that it is the centerpiece of their new cinematic universe, that makes it a flop. Its performance, it didn't capture the imagination of the majority of moviegoers. In fact, they've got 3 pieces of DC content, and 2 of them are actually aged out of the audience that they need the most. The little kids can't watch Creature Commandos or Peacemaker. And you just reminded me there how Fox have turned around and made Predator Badlands a PG-13 movie, which it will be a 12A in the UK. Yeah, so listen, he's the Temu Joss Whedon, or the Wish.com Joss Whedon. Yeah. He's a one-trick pony that got really lucky with Guardians, but
right.
When
Vex
he was
said that.
When he was picking from mainline, classic rock and pop songs, it was fine. But what is this obscure Croatian heavy metal bullshit? He trying to be super hipster with Creature Commandos and these weird ass songs like that actually turns people off. Now he's just he's a lying, deceptive hipster. He is a disingenuous twat, and he gets on. Once you attack the fans,
you offend me when you say it like that. Can you say twat, please?
What did I say?
Twat.
No, just say twat. Just say twat. Like
twat.
Okay.
Is a lot better.
He is a disingenuous Hollywood twat.
Yes.
Oh, that's better. Yes.
And the fact is, he thinks that his problem is everybody else, and he's an asshole who doesn't respect the sandboxes he's been invited to play in, because he thinks, another Dunning-Kruger, he thinks he knows better. He doesn't show respect to the IP that he has been asked to shepherd through, and he doesn't respect his audience. In fact, he's attacked his audience now. So you know what? Like, that's when you lose me. Once you attack your customers, I'm not coming back for seconds. And the fact that Peacemaker is a bunch of
question. Question.
Yeah.
I'm not fully aware of all of the James Gunn attacking the fans thing. Like, I've been critiquing him strictly as a creative this entire time. What has he done to the fans or said to the fans?
He doesn't like white men. He doesn't like MAGA type people. He likes to have a pop at the audience, like saying, you don't deserve to watch what I'm creating because you're a piece of trailer park trash.
Wait, how can you say you hate white people when you have white hair by choice?
Mm-hmm.
That's
therein itself is the joke, I think.
That's the model of the self-hating woke. But listen, I'm older than it. That line where I don't really think it's much different in the Nazi universe than it is back home. Motherfucker, you have no idea what real fucking racism is. You have no idea what real Nazis do. I am so offended at this idea that, this country might as well be, 1940s Germany.
Well, he's just a hipster woke, isn't he? Oh, look, there's a bandwagon there. I can jump on that, and then I can make it my own, and then everybody will think I'm fucking super hip and trendy.
Listen, and the irony is she was just chased by an angry mob into a swimming pool that was going to kill her, and she's like, it's just the same as back home, where your mother was one of those powerful people in government, and you've got a rich, privileged life if you want to take it. but you decide you have to go off your own and be some stupid ass PI.
Yeah,
Listen,
but
I had to read my kids the Riot Act because they started quoting this kind of shit. And I'm like, listen, I've lived in a bunch of different countries. I've been all around the world and I'm old. You have no idea what real fucking racism is. You better, shut your mouth and look around, because America is one of the least racist countries I've ever been to. And I've been to quite a few of them.
Yeah, there is that aspect about it, because it's not. I mean, it's fake. It's it's TV and it's movie, but this guy is like somebody's giving him some fucking really dodgy Kool-Aid, and he's just fucking running with it. Which reminds me, we can nicely segue into Peacemaker. It was the finale. It was an utter fucking piece of trash. There was no substance whatsoever in this episode. It was hard to watch.
When does he have substance? When did he ever have substance in this show?
No, yeah, in season one was fucking amazing.
No, this season 2. When was there substance? After
None.
8 episodes. Yeah,
none,
exactly.
None whatsoever. There has been very little in this at all. It's funny though. Say what you want about the Nazi alternate universe in Peacemaker, but it. I hate to admit it, it was fucking appealing.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. The he made that the place, that people would want to go. But then, his little see, gotcha, you're a racist, and I'm like, no, actually, you're kind of the racist, because you made the universe without brown people. Idyllic. So what does that say about you, asshole?
It's almost like
he made a universe without brown people.
Yeah, everybody. In the alternate universe or reality that Peacemaker went into, it was one where Adolf Hitler won the Second World War. So anybody of color was completely banished from society. They were all in camps.
That sounds beautiful. What do you mean? Oh, James Gunn might be a little bit based now. Okay, sorry, continue.
No. Like Ista says, it was a total fabricated trap for people to go, wow, this universe looks quite good. It looks quite appealing. But nobody noticed that there were copies of Mein Kampf on everybody's desk, and that the US flag, instead of it having stars, it had a swastika in the blue bit. And there was a big giant mural of Adolf Hitler outside the White House. And was it White House or Congress, Istra? I can't remember.
Except everybody noticed. That was the point. Since the second episode, people were talking about, hey, you know what? There's no black people in this.
Z called it. Yeah, fair enough. He based it on what he'd read on Reddit, but he'd been saying it all along. But this episode, it was just fucking... everything that were leading up to this moment was based on a moment 1 month ago where Chris goes out on a date with Hardcore. Obviously goes drinking, but Hardcore's fucking damaged goods. She's pretty fucked up in her head. This guy just accidentally brushed into her and she wanted to kick the fuck out of him. So she was getting this guy to start, and then Chris steps in and the guy goes, fucking hell, you're a big lad. I better back down because I'm a weak white male. Which there's a lot of in this series. Did anybody else notice that you're a weak white male? You should just roll over. Fuck off. Anybody notice that?
That's everybody and everything. That was Tron Ares too. But the fact is, there are no characters that are appealing in this show anymore. The magic of season 1 was that you got a bunch of people that are horrible, but somehow when you put them together, they had this chemistry and they made each other better people. But they've all been separate for season 2. And the fact is, there's nobody I care enough whether or not you grow out of being an asshole. At this point, I don't care, because everybody's so goddamn unlikable. And
they are. They're all obnoxious in their own way. They're the kind of people that you would not want to associate with. It's almost as if James Gunn is using these people as metaphors for different parts of white society, And that's an interesting shot there. I must have timed that really good. I mean, just look at Mrs. James Gunn there. Did you know that's James Gunn's wife, Vex?
No, it's
surprising, to be honest.
It's a bunch of Botox with James Gunn's wife hiding behind it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened between season 1 and 2, but it's almost like they replaced her with a fuck doll. She does. She looks like a fucking rubber. You know these sex dolls you can order from China or whatever, the ones that are realistic. She just looks like one of those.
I only buy American-made sex dolls. Thank you very much.
You know, she's almost got that look on her face that says, "I'm full." You know,
Okay,
if it starts coming out of her nostrils, that's the time to empty her out.
I will say that she actually did a good job acting when she played her evil twin, who was more of a girly girl. Like, I didn't really think she could act, and she
was quite passable and pleasing to the eye. But then
when
again,
she wasn't wearing pants.
Yeah, but that's James Gunn telling me deep down that I'm a misogynist and I'm part of the problem of society.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a band on a riverboat called Nelson. I've never heard of Nelson. Were they a thing in the States?
I've never heard of them, and I know
haven't
a lot
either.
of obscure bands.
No. So anyway, it cuts back to Chris being in jail from last week's episode. And these people want to visit him. It's all his little posse, the 11th Street Gang or whatever they're called now. And he just says, "I'm the angel of death, motherfucker," and sulks in jail. Meanwhile, Argus, just for anybody's information outside the UK, there's a shop, a chain store called Argos. And it's very easy to say that instead of Argus. Well, they're exploring the alternate dimension, the folded dimension, which they didn't rip off from Doctor Who at all. It's a part of folded space that contained doors to different realities. And they're all exploring them because Rick Flag Sr. is looking for a particular dimension. He's got a plan. But they go into this one, and it's a candy cane world with gingerbread windmills and stuff like this. But they walk in here, and the grass starts rattling. And this guy who thinks he's fucking hilarious sees this little fucking weird thing, but it looks all kind of cute and shit, but they turn out to be like critters. You ever see the movie Critters, Fax?
Sounds familiar, but no.
Little fur balls from outer space, but they chew your face off.
Okay.
£2. Requesting a fancier bum at your convenience. Okie dokie.
Do you fancy a bum?
Do you fancy another?
Do you fancy a bum? Do you fancy a bum? Do you fancy a bum?
There we go. Lots of fancying of bums there, Brian, for another pot knacker. You could have a Selby grill steak for that one. Or would you like a Tokyo gusset mist? I had a Tokyo gusset mist for my tea earlier, and I quite enjoyed it until I puked. Thank you, pot knacker. So anyway, these little bastards turn out to be evil little shits, and they try and lock these guys into their dimension. But they all get pulled back. But one particular guy, the guy who was in front, had his face fucking chewed off. I thought that was a bit gratuitous and a bit unnecessary, really. Gunn's having to go this far down into the bargain barrel. That he's got to do this to try and entertain people. Cute little creatures that just fucking eat your face off. And then you've got this guy at the back here who looks at a total fucking paedophile, right? He's getting egged on by Rick Flag, who just looks like a fucking, I don't know. He's almost like a gay joke of Sylvester Stallone. I don't know if anybody else sees that. But the thing is, Bordeaux's starting to get a bit like, what the fuck? She's starting to notice all the cracks in the management. Meanwhile, back at this domicile, another example of weak white maleage. This is John fucking, I always forget his name, Economos, who's a part of the 11th Street Gang, or kids, or whatever they fucking called this episode. And Eagly's sulking because Chris is obviously in jail. I think Eagly's perhaps the best and most relatable character in this entire fucking franchise. And Adrian is another example of a weak white male who just hangs around in his basement, plotting to do evil things to people with his ninja swords and guns.
I'm sorry, can you say a wheat white male?
Weak. I said weak white male. Weak.
You said wheat.
No. It was my weak in the style of Cool Whip. Whatever Cool Whip is. Cool Whip. What the fuck is Cool Whip? Anyway, we don't know over here. We don't get Cool Whip. What is it?
It's just a bunch of chemicals that are meant to simulate whipped cream, cheap whipped cream.
Really? Is that what
Cool is? In this country, Trev, it's called fluff. If you look in the store, you see it on the shelf.
Oh, I know what fluff, like Fluffernutter. I know what that is.
Yeah.
So it's just basically marshmallow sauce.
No, it's a whipped cream equivalent of fluff. Like it's in the freezer section. It's It has to stay in a freezer.
Oh my God! What does that? Why? What rhymes with fluff? Anybody?
Muff?
The stuff. Is it like the stuff from that? Anybody see that really bad horror movie from the 80s?
Yeah,
The Stuff.
that's what I think of every time. Yeah.
Yeah, we might do that on Just Great Movies a little bit later on.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, Ads is the voice of sense and reason in this entire franchise because, wheat men. Does that suit you, Vex? Is that better? Weak wike. Cool whip.
White.
Cool whip, weak wike. There we go. Weak wike males are terrible people, but black young ladies with rather large boobage, they are the fucking absolute core of
Look
modern society.
at that fucking muffin top. Those jeans are about 2 sizes too small for that fat ass bitch.
Yeah, I agree there. I mean, you could motorboat for fucking England between those jugs. But moving swiftly on. Anyway, Adrian's got a basement full of narcotics and money that is taken from ill-gotten gains and kind of taking it in as a hostage. But obviously, young black lady knows more than wheat white male. Vex, you didn't catch my little trap I laid for you a couple of scenes back.
What was it?
Sylvester Stallone reference. Did you like Rocky?
Oh,
Remember that?
Yeah, I completely missed that.
Anyway, another weak white male is the prison guard and tells Chris that his bail's been posted because they've started using that money from ill-gotten gains. So Chris turns up at this house. They don't exactly explain where this house came from, whether it's been given to them by Argus, sorry. Not a slip of the tongue at all. He turns up to get Eagly, and then everybody moans at Economos because they let him go. He comes and gets Eagly and then goes. Economos didn't stop him. Do you know why he didn't stop him, Vex?
Because he's a wheat white male.
He's a wheat white male, yes. He is indeed. He is the epitome of the nebbish.
What does that mean?
A nebbish, it's like a weak white male, but in Jewish form, apparently.
Ew.
It's a Jewish insult, so I'm led to believe. Anyway, in this dimension, there's this one creature, and he just takes these like rat cat things to like a bin, and he just looks at everybody like really like, what the fuck? And then he goes back to doing what he's doing. They didn't actually really explain what this entity is and what it's doing and what it does. But they open another door, and our favourite little bastard, Judo Master. I wanted to see Judo Master get fucking nobbled because he's a little see you next Tuesday in my book. But notice how they tie this in with the Superman movie? You know how there was that little dimensional thing and it ended up going to a black hole?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look, it's the same black hole. And when I say black hole, I don't mean that young lady in the yellow top's bum hole.
Nobody wants to look at any hole she has, whether they're black or not.
And the irony is, her character's a lesbo.
Of course she is.
She is in this, but I wouldn't like to particularly lick that stamp, I'm afraid. I'll take a pass. Anyway, it gets a post-it note from Lex Luthor. Rick, looks promising. Can't wait to see what's next. And then I've noticed there's been overuse of gratuitous... that's come back up again. Fancy a bum, Bri. There we go. There's been overuse, very gratuitous drug taking in this particular season. I don't like to see people doing hard narcotics.
I mean,
because kids are going to see this eventually.
Oh God, that's the least of our worries, man. They've been exposed. Remember, what was that movie about the 13 Reasons Why destroyed our children, and so did fucking Euphoria. So we're well past that. But
yeah, but there is a possibility of rescuing. But when you've got to stoop to this level of writing, just to use as a punctuation mark within what you're creating, I think that's just yet again. He didn't have anything to put in this particular point.
I mean, this is just on brand for John Cena at this point with the amount of roids that he's sticking up every hole he has.
Yeah.
Can I make a point at this point?
Yeah, sure.
Point away.
So we're looking at a universe and they're all freaking out about this portal and they're mobilizing all of Argus, which looks like it's in a post office or a dentist office or something, and not like a paramilitary high intelligence security arm of the government. But we're in a universe where they can already make black holes and pocket universes and teleportation and neural interfaces with other people and animals. Like, this is piddly shit compared to all the stuff that Lex Luthor can already easily make. They shouldn't even. The universe is broken because of how Gunn constructed the first Superman movie. So nothing here really fucking matters. What they should be doing is they should be dissecting Lex Luthor and finding out and going through all of his toys and his blueprints. And, he can make freaking black holes, for fuck's sake. So all of this stuff is, this is all just junior varsity bullshit. She's a cyborg, for fuck's sake. The priorities and the motivations don't match with the universe they created here. And that's why it comes off as fake. That's my point.
Yeah, it's very valid too. But during your rant there, I carried on with the slides because Bordeaux's beginning to realize that Ric Flair isn't particularly the nicest of people, because there's either weak white males in this season, or there's strong, overly aggressive, too ballsy, too full of testosterone wankers. And Ric Flag Senior is obviously one of those. And he gets to the point after this meeting like, yeah, whatever, babe, I'm off to the bar with the guys, fuck you. So like Bordeaux's very disillusioned with the ongoings at Argus. So she arranges to meet up with Hardcore. And this is going to have, it's going to be relevant to what's coming up later in the episode. But our favourite black hole adds, she gets called in and ends up being a part of this new gang. Meanwhile, we have a bit of a flashback to this Nelson thing on this rock cruise because Hardcore finds a ticket in the bathroom. So Chris has been referencing for at least, 3 episodes now? Oh, did you forget about what happened on the boat? Now, I thought it was like a love boat and John Cena were like fucked to 40 ways from Sunday. Probably a bit of backdoor action too, just for good measure. Lots of lube and possibly a donkey and power tools involved. But no, it's all quite innocent. He kissed her at a rock show on a boat. And she just loses her fucking shit because he's not a weak white male. He's quite a big burly chap, plenty of testosterone. But she runs off, leaving Chris thinking, what the fuck? And he's been sulking. He's been so depressed about this all this season. This has been one of the major things in his life because he thinks, oh, am I a bad person because I'm trying to engage in heterosexual activity? Is that another thing within this series? Is it bad to be straight now? There has been an undertone of that. He's not
really straight though. He's already he likes to give blowjobs. He's already said.
Well, he accidentally sucked a dick in. What was it, Portland?
No, he's good at it, and I don't think it was an accident. He's proud of it, so he's definitely not straight.
Sexually ambiguous character, but she's not ready for commitment because she thinks she's damaged goods. I think she ought to count herself very fucking lucky because, according to WWE gossip. In the locker room, when Cena goes for a piss, he's stood at least 7 foot away from the pot. Meanwhile, in Lesbo Town, Lesbos actually have marital problems. Who'd have guessed? I wish I had one of those 1940s effects. Ladies and gentlemen, we introduce to you lesbians. Even lesbians have marriage problems. More so than straight people. That'd be great, like a Mr. Cholmondeley Warner.
Actually, I believe that's actually statistically accurate because lesbian relationships are the most unstable of all sexual relationships. And lesbians are also the most violent of all romantic partners. And the first crime committed in space was by a lesbian.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my God, the more you know. Holy shit! Intergalactic lesbianism. Oh, marvelous. That'll take some licking, won't it, as an achievement? Go. Anyway, yeah, she puts other half straight on the lesbian state of affairs. Statistically as well, the second most problematic relationships are between gay couples, male gay couples. Who'd have thought? Apparently it's a pain in the arse. Who knew? Oh, weak white male is used as a distraction because he is indeed a weak white male. John Economos. Not economic on tits because his tits are bigger than anybody else's on the show. So he's creating a distraction so Bordeaux and Harcourt can do something. Some shit like a bit of a side hustle MacGuffin project. You know, it's not really elaborated on too much. Meanwhile, Chris is living in a hooker hotel or a motel. Is that a motel or a hotel, Esther? What do you reckon?
Motel.
Yeah?
Like honestly, like I don't care. Every character in the show is fucking unlikable.
Yeah, they're all shit.
Yeah, honestly, as you're spending all this time going through the show, it's painful because, like, why bother? There are other things out that are good that are worth talking about. This is ideological garbage, and yeah, even the masculine guys eventually become the castrated cucks of impotency. And I'm just tired of watching all this shit. Like I've been watching old stuff and the few good shows that are new and decent. I don't want to relive this garbage fire here.
It's an alien Earth, isn't it?
Yeah. Some streams go really deep on the inner workings of problems of TV shows in modern day settings. But no, we go straight for the jugular. We either say it's fucking wank, fucking shit, or just fucking dire. Why beat around the bush? Let's go straight for the fucking jugular. Anyway, his friends...
lesbians beat around the bush, you know.
Yes. We shan't mention tuppence lickers. There'll be no tuppence licking here. So anyway, Adrian gives him a bit of a tase in the balls. And I thought that was a good shot there. That's the range. That's how committed Cena is to the character. That's how far he'll go. Whoever's giving him acting lessons is well worth the money. Did I notice what, Esther?
Every modern show, there's a guy taking it in the jubblies. That's something you never used to see except in comedy, but they can't resist. From Loki season 1 to everything else, there's always going to be a guy like taking it in the
cock shots are the lowest of hanging fruits, aren't they, if you think about it?
It's a box that has to be checked.
That's the way to put it.
Do you get what I said?
Yeah.
Do you get that?
It's just another attack on masculinity, and it's
because testosterone is bad, kids.
Yeah, it's not about strong women. We don't mind that. That's always the take when they're attacking the fans.
And they're twice as stronger if they're a person of color, by the way.
Yeah, but they can't raise up the women without lowering everybody else, and that's why all of this stuff is so hard to watch and enjoy. It's not entertainment. It is a critical race theory lecture on intersectionalism.
It's nostalgia. We're back to Ghostbusters 2016.
Oh God, don't. There is no Ghostbusters 2016. It did not exist. That is fucking bizarro world shit right there. But I thought there was a bit of a Wizard of Oz analogy going off here and being a bit overplayed. Because if you noticed, each one of the characters almost felt like a part of Chris. You know, Economos is the courage, not the courage, he's the cowardly lion. Adrian's like the courage, but also a bit like a tin man. And you've got Ads there, she's the heart of the whole thing. So does that make Harcourt the brains? But she's trying to process how she loves Chris, and Chris absolutely loves her, but it's almost as if she doesn't want to give in to heterosexualism because that would make her... No, it's apparently a real person. That's Mrs. James Gunn, by the way. James Gunn, when he sees this stream, and he will at some point, because he's a vacuous prick, and he looks at everything that criticises him, because it burns him deeply. Hi, James, how are you, you cock? Anyway, he married this, he put a ring on it, and she's been on his ring. As you do in a marriage, and a perfectly normal heterosexual relationship. But this is almost like... She doesn't want to accept heterosexualism because it's wrong. Chris wants it.
Real quick, I unfortunately have to go.
That is rather unfortunate, and I thank you for your time, and I really do appreciate it. Obviously, you're off to a bigger and better stream somewhere, possibly one down under, but never mind. Say hi to Jay Goodwin for me.
I mean,
take
that's
care.
not for another like hour-ish, but I have to go to the store. That's why. I'd
Okay,
stay if
I'll
I
let
did
you
have to go
off
to the
then.
store. Yeah.
That's fine.
You'll
Just
get
make
me
sure-
off? Hold on.
Just do me a favor. Make sure you get some Cool Whip for the week Wike mail.
Thank you for having me, Trev. I love being
Oh,
here.
it's always a pleasure to have you.
All right. Have a wonderful weekend.
Well, it is weak because I'm a weak Wike male. You take care. Adios, muchachos. And until the next time, thank you for joining us.
My
Good to see
pleasure.
you, Vex. It's good to stream with you.
Very good. Very good. All right. Cheers, guys.
God, just get a number already. So anyway, yeah, he's like, he finally got her to admit that she feels something for him. And he's like, fuck yeah. And then we go to this 1 week later bullshit. We're back on this boat. And they are the guys singing the fucking theme song. But in the meantime, they're going to do something with all that money from ill-gotten gains. They're all loading up. And I don't know, it just got a bit fucking silly and desperate. And they start obviously building something fresh and new. They put their own team together. Eagly's actually friends with Economos now because he didn't like him because he's a weak white male. And they've gone on to create this. Look, they've even got fucking Judo Master and I Think I'm Funny Black Guy. It's like they've got a full set of stereotypes from everyday life. Apart from Judo Master, of course, because he's just a cock. So they set up this thing, Checkmate, making the world better. With Eagly flying over the... This almost felt like a sarcastic attack on the American dream. I mean, I'm not American, but if I were, and I read into this and saw this for what I thought it was, I'd be quite fucking angry at this point. Anybody? Hello, computer.
I think I stopped paying attention at this point. Like
all right. Well, if I'm keeping you awake, feel free to go.
No,
By all
when
means.
when the show was on, I just, it took me 6
Did
hours.
you step
to get
out?
through Did I
Did you
step
step
out
out?
of the show?
Yeah.
It was so bad, but I wanted to get through
Yeah.
it, for the purposes of review.
For
took me
a
a
season
while.
2 finale, this did not hit the mark in any shape, way, or form.
Exactly. I watched it in 3 and 4 minute bits because that's all I could take.
Well, you're a smarter and more wiser man than me because I actually sat through this in one sitting, and it was bad. I thought, if this is the best what they can produce, then they deserve to fail because it's just pathetic. For the amount of money they're making, what they're getting per episode, this should be fucking comedy gold. They should have the best writers, but no, James Gunn does it all. He's a one-man fucking laugh factory, that guy, and he's not. So anyway, Chris goes back home and is promptly accosted and taken hostage. Rick Flag Sr. wants to get his ultimate revenge on Chris because all this shenanigans with these doors, they've been looking for a perfect environment to send all metahumans to. They want them completely out of society. So in a way, Rick Flag is kind of like an analogy for racism. He's almost like a Hitler himself because he wants to exclude a certain portion of a species of humans who've got extra powers. He wants to extradite them to another dimension. So he's come up with this thing whereby he's got this dimensional door based on the one that Chris had in that silver half football thing, whatever it was. And he's designed it so when that closes down, it never reappears in the same place twice within this dimension. So he chucks Chris in there. He goes, "For Ricky," like he's some fucking mafioso. Just look at him. He just looks a pompous prig. And he truly is. So, like, Chris is like, I'm going to be a bit fucked here. So, last-ditch attempt, he tries to jump back through. The door closes down, but obviously it's not going to reappear in that same location ever again. So he's stuffed. He's there all on his Todd. And then he gets to hear like Jurassic Park noises, which I thought was quite funny in a way. But all in all, for a season finale, this did not fucking hit the mark in any shape, way or form at all. If I was to give this points out of 10, this would be fucking lucky to get a 3 from me. It was shit. In fact, it was beyond shit.
I can't wait if Skydance ends up buying Warner Brothers. They're going to go to James Gunn and say, get the fuck out of here and take your work shit with you, and I'll throw a party. That will be...
I don't know.
That would just be
I can't see
magnificent.
that happening. I cannot see that happening at all, to be fair. Anyway, it's nearly the end of the show. So before we just do anything goes, I want to do this.
B-Sides has movies so good, it makes you want to kick your TV.
So B-Sides on YouTube tonight from 2 a.m. UK time. Please adjust accordingly for your time zone. I'm not your mother. I'm not going to do it for you. And I don't know what tonight's subject is, but I'm assuming it'll be something very fucking tasty. Atom says, cheers, Trev. You are more than welcome, my friend. Franco, I've got to thank him. He's one of our top wrenchers. Says, don't forget to hit refresh, leave a comment after the stream as it helps the channel grow. Thank you. That would be great. Hey, we're starting to get a bit of traction now. We're not that far off, really. I think we're, 57 away from 1K? That would be so cool to get to 1K for Christmas. And then we could do a pot knacker giveaway. Notice there's some new flavours there. What's that? Slatch faddock?
Yep.
Musty Quumph.
Mm-hmm.
Is that oily slat?
It is.
Oh, you've got the biker bolognese, biker bolognese. Oh, that's the top one. Bombay bum sweat. Oh, another top favourite. I'm quite partial to a Tokyo gusset mist.
Oh, you can smell it from here.
Atom Gray says tonight, this is quite good. I likes a bit of, it's Tim Burton, isn't it, this one, with Thingamabob, Pirates of the Caribbean bloke, Johnny Depp. Atom Gray, we're celebrating Edward's birthday tonight. Nice. Or as Scottish Celt says, nice. That bloke, how he became a meme is just reading a story about a baked potato. How weird's that? Fucking beyond me, really is. This coming Tuesday, I just wanted to quickly mention this. This coming Tuesday, we're doing a belter of a film from 1981. Any ideas? Anybody ever see this one? Albert Finney in Looker.
I thought it was Jeremy Clarkson for a second.
Hey, not bad. I like that. It's Albert Finney doing a really bad American accent. There's also James Coburn in it as well. James Coburn, I think, was the quintessential cool motherfucker of the 1960s, right through until he appeared in Payback. Payback, wasn't it, with Mel Gibson?
I love that film.
And the 1981
so
Playmate of the Year,
cool.
Terry Wells, totally naked.
Yeah. Atom Gray says, Runaway, that is coming up soon.
Nice.
Just a couple of things, dates of note. Did I tell you all about what happened to my really lovely Nokia? How it fucking blew up and nearly killed me?
When?
A couple of weeks ago, I was just sat here in the office and I started hearing like a popcorn type noise, and I noticed my screen and it blew out towards me. The battery just went apeshit.
What is it? This is an old phone, yeah?
No, this was an X30 5G phone.
Bloody hell! What, like smartphone, touchscreen, etc.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
So now I'm back to a 2017 LG, and it's not the best. So anyway, I've got big plans for Just Great Movies on the 18th of November. Potentially have a guest. And if I secure said guest, it'll just be me and him doing the stream together. But we do invite everybody to go absolutely apeshit in the chat. However, on the 25th of November, I have got, and I mean this sincerely, an absolutely fucking awesome Just Great Movies that you won't want to miss. It is going to be like a gateway to Star Trek December.
Oh, yeah.
Where if you want to have a guess in the chat what it might be, you are more than welcome to have a guess, but it will blow your fucking socks off. You know? That's how good it's going to be. It's going to be the perfect entry. And then, obviously, the first week of December, Star Trek The Motion Picture, but I'm doing the director's edition because that was the original version I saw. This wasn't the director's cut. This was the first one I ever saw. And this is like, you know, we're talking obviously like 84, 85 when it first got shown on TV. You know? Oh, dare I say what I've just seen in the chat? Somebody might be on the money. Say no more. Yeah. I'm so looking forward to it because Star Trek The Motion Picture Director's Edition, we're doing the Director's Edition of Wrath of Khan, because I'm not going to argue with Nick Mayer because he did wonders with that film. That film is just pivotal in the Star Trek universe. Mm-hmm. And then there's the highly underrated Star Trek 3, not to be confused with the porn spoof Sex Trek 3, The Search for Cock, which is an absolute belting film. I may or may not have seen it. I can neither confirm nor deny that. Star Trek 4 is a bit of a sticky wicket for me because I neither like it nor dislike it. The only thing I don't like is Star Trek 2, 3, and 4 are basically, you know, they're a continuation. Oh, bye then, Esther. Oh, what happened there?
It's gone critical mass.
Yeah. Star Trek 4 is... If they'd have had a James Horner soundtrack, it would have been fantastic. If it had followed in the same vein as 2 and 3, that would have been even better. Mm-hmm. But no, Leonard Nimoy had to go full-on fucking hippie and turn it into a bit of a shit show. But saying that, you can't really say it's a shit show considering that Star Trek 5 may or may not exist, but it won't do in the reviews that we're doing. We're just going to go motion picture 2, 3, 4, and 6. Mm-hmm. That's all we're doing, you know? Franco says, Ista de-resed. I hope it wasn't something we said, but never mind.
It was a lot, right. It was here a lot longer than half an hour, so maybe...
Yeah, you never know. Might have met his time limit. Thank you to Vex for popping in. Thank you to Ista for popping in too. Thank you, as always, guest number 1. It's been an absolute blast. Really enjoyed tonight. I really have enjoyed tonight. Mm-hmm. So good. So I've given you a few details of what's coming up soon. Got nothing to moan about on Friday Night Shite. So it's going to take a break for a little bit. Just to let you guys know that I'm going away soon. Let me go back to October. So there'll be a Just Great Movies on the 21st. There won't be one on the 28th, but we will be back on the 4th of November because I will be outside of the country, which I'm quite looking forward to.
Oh, lucky you.
Well, the thing is, it's my first proper holiday, really. You know, all year. I had those 3 days away in the caravan when we took the tourer out, but I have not had a proper holiday all year. You know,
can you disclose where it is?
It's abroad, on an island.
Oh, that island. Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, it might sound a bit grotty, as in Lanzarote. So it's nothing fancy, but just a bit of a villa where I can chill out just for 10 days, and maybe have a tipple or two.
Yeah.
But like I say, it's the first proper holiday I've had all year, and I've worked solid all the way this year. Not just doing this and Just Great Movies. but I work in several jobs, so I think I need a break. Although 2 of the people I work for actually fucking moaned because I dared to have 10 days off.
So what's the matter with them? Jesus Christ!
It's like I haven't even. At one job, I haven't had a single day off all year. Another job, I had 3 days off through illness. But obviously, the other job I could still carry on doing from home, which they expected me to do, whether I was dying in my deathbed or not. But I carried on regardless. But I am fucking absolutely knackered. I'm looking forward to actually sleeping in. I can't remember the last time I did that.
Just don't sleep in for the entire 10 days, that's all.
I'm not going to do no, because there's bars to be had, adventures to be found. I'm going to create my own trek, but it's going to be a booze trek. And maybe a bit of pussy, stinky pussy, wet pussy, Spanish pussy. Just to make sure the wife isn't with me when I'm doing that, you know what I mean?
I was going to say, you'll have to just be careful where you go, who you go with.
I don't care at this point. Any fun's good fun. Anyway, thank you, guest number 1. I'm going to call it at 5 minutes past 2 hours and 5 minutes because I'm starting to wane a little bit now. So thank you to everybody. I'll see you for Tuesday for Just Great Movies, where we do look at from 1981. Say bye-bye, swappers.
Bye-bye, swappers.